The following video focuses on taking words apart while reading for struggling readers. It will use the works of Clay as a basis for how to do this. In reading recovery, there are several strategic places that an instructor can use in order to break apart words, such as after a child reads a familiar book, while breaking apart words at the magnetic board, when taking apart words in isolation or in writing, while preparing to read a new book, and finally, while after reading the new book. Before seeing the procedure, it is important to note that most people feel that the brain is working on several levels when you read or while you write. Clay feels it is important to work specifically on one level in this hierarchy, which includes the following steps. The features of a letter. The letter level. The cluster or letter sequence level. The word level. The phrase level. The sentence level. And finally, the gist of the passage. In reading recovery, most word work occurs on a continuous text, using the particular child's known vocabulary as the reference point. This allows the learner massive opportunities to read and write successfully, and he will operate effectively on all the levels of the previously mentioned. A learner will go through all the levels of the text while writing a message that he composed orally. He learns to do efficient sound-to-sound analysis, he learns to record letter by letter, and from writing he learns the language sequence when he's trying to tell you something. Physically, he constructs it as writing. He reconstructs the message at a word level as a puzzle, then reconstructs it very fluently as he rereads the story. Moving through this hierarchy also occurs while reading. The student is now trying to reconstruct the author's text. The constructing he does in both reading and writing involves letters in a way in which they stand for sounds and spelling patterns, but it also involves constructing phrases, sentences, and whole passages of language. Clay offers a word of caution about teaching in a sequence. We need to meet the students where they are. For example, when teaching the alphabet, it might not make the most sense to start with A and end with Z. Instead, it may be easier to work with things like need to use or the frequency of occurrence to provide a logical sequence when instructing a student. This is also true with breaking apart words. The most rapid acceleration possible for the child is what we need to keep in mind. Furthermore, it is important to note that accomplished readers read in chunks. So knowing this and knowing that a left to right scanning through a work is critical in reading because letter order matters is important while working with students. Being flexible in your instructional sequence and being observational in how the student is reading left to right is key to success. In order to have success in this procedure, teachers must be careful observers. Finally, teachers will select words for taking apart from the child's reading book or written messages, bearing in mind that they are aiming to expand on what they already know. You are working with what the student's known letters and words are. You are taking apart something new based on what they already know so that they can have success. When teaching students to take apart words while reading, we want to keep in mind we should only do this when absolutely necessary. This could include teaching a relevant distinction and making sure that the child knows that there is a distinction and this is not just a matter of routine. While teaching and observing a problem, we want to make note of it and make sure to arrange for it to reoccur at a later date. We do this so we can look for several opportunities to revisit this in familiar readings in the next few days. Once identified, it may be appropriate to create a list so that we do not forget what the child was struggling with and we can revisit them later. It is important in reading recovery to link today's work to tomorrow's work, so we want to make sure that the list allows us to revisit these works frequently. If necessary, you may need to take the word and work in isolation. However, the most important thing is to think about the child you are working with and try to individualize your instruction as best you can so that that child is getting the most help that they can. The following is an example using Clay's works and reading recovery procedures of taking apart words only when necessary with a struggling reader. All right, why don't you read me this sentence?
I Bunny.
Alright, now let's look one more time. What's that first letter?
R.
What sound does R make?
R.
Good. What's the second letter?
A.
What sound does A make?
Ah. Ah.
So if we put them together,
Ra.
good.
Ra.
So that's the beginning of the word. Are there any parts of this word that you know?
It.
Alright, good.
Rabbit.
Ends with it. So what's the word?
Rabbit.
So let's read that sentence one more time.
I
Let's
am.
point.
Okay. I am a rabbit.
Good job. In the preceding clip, we saw a student break apart the word by using the first sounds and the last sounds, and also looking for similar words that they knew, such as it at the end of rabbit. In the clip we are about to see, we will see this trend continue, and we will also see her break apart a word using syllables. Good job. Let's keep going.
I am a cat.
Nice work.
I am a I don't know. I need help.
Alright, so let's look. What's the first letter?
C.
Have we seen C before in this book?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And cat. So what's the sound does C make? K. So it's, no, I am a k.
I am a
Are there any parts of this word that you would know?
cow.
Cow. Good. So,
I am a cowboy.
good job.
I am a clown.
Nice work.
I am a pirate. I am a butterfly.
Alright, let's read this last page.
I am a I don't know. I am a I don't know.
Alright, let's look at the first letter again.
D.
What sound does D make?
D.
Duh. Like what? What's another animal that has a duh sound?
Dog.
Dog.
I am a dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Good, because it ends with an R. And you had dinosaur with an R. Dinosaur is a big word. How many syllables do you think there are in dinosaur? Let's clap it out.
Okay.
Dinosaur. How many times did I clap?
3.
Let's try it with me.
Dinosaur.
How about you clap as I point to them.
Okay. Dinosaur.
Good job. Now let's read this sentence one more time.
I am a dinosaur.
Nice work. Good job. In the clips you just saw, the student focused first on the first sounds and then worked at the end of the word and then went back and moved left to right. It may additionally help to drop endings such as S's or EDs. None were shown in this, but that could be useful. It is also useful to take into account their writing at the time. You may want to draw on what they were writing earlier in the lesson to help make a connection between what they are reading and what they are writing.